being caught by Early Mist, who's finishing very fast into 4th place.
Well, Tony, you certainly sprang a surprise on us today. Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you, Peter.
Tell me, did you really think you had a chance in the race beforehand?
Well, I thought I had a good chance of being placed.
But you didn't think you'd beat Halloween or 410?
Too good to be true.
And at what stage of the race did you think you would beat them?
Jumping the last open ditch, I knew I'd win there.
You did?
Providing I stood up.
Yes.
And he never felt like falling. He made a bit of a mistake at the second last, but never felt like falling.
Well done.
And he just strode away and won as far as I liked.
Very good. And that's, of course, your biggest success so far.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Tony, what about the National? Do you ride our wedding in the National?
I ride her wedding, yes.
And were you pleased with her today?
She ran very well, but she wasn't fit, and I pulled her up.
Do you think she'll be straight in time by the National?
We hope to give her another race on Saturday, which will bring her on a bit.
Has she been down to the sands during the cold spell?
Yes.
And
yes.
what about Gay Donald?
He hasn't been down, but Mr. Ford, he's kept him fit. He's been able to work him somewhere at home. He's always found somewhere to work him.
Well, Tony, congratulations, and let's have a word with Mr. Ford and ask him about Gay Donald. And well done and good luck in the National.
Thank you.
And well done, Mr. Ford, an absolutely splendid effort.
Thank you, Mr. Sullevan.
Tell us a little about the horse, the early history of him.
Well, we bought him as a 4-year-old, unbroken. He was bred in Wiltshire by Harry Frank. We broke him in. He was bought with the intention of making a national horse. He's run very successfully up to now, but I think that we must 50%, if not all, of his success is due to the fact that his owner was very, very patient with him and he wouldn't over-race him.
You're going to put him in the National next year?
I shouldn't think so. I think possibly the year after that. But I think possibly next year he should be quite as good, if not a better horse than he is now.
And how did he start in life? Wasn't he intended to be a show horse?
He was bred. As a matter of fact, Mr. Frank, he breeds chiefly for show, but he was too ugly to show.
Well, that's just as well, probably, that he was too ugly.
Quite, yes.
And what did you think before the race today?
I felt absolutely confident, if he could keep out of trouble, that he would win.
Well done.
Because every time he's raced, he's always been in the frame unless he's been in trouble.
And isn't it true that he frets when you don't go to a meeting with him?
Unfortunately, he does. Each time he's been away from me, he's only been away twice, and he's been absolutely useless.
And you have to feed him yourself?
I always do all the feeding, yes. I always feed him. I always ride him in all his work at home.
Well, you must feed him pretty good food. Congratulations, Mr. Ford, and I hope you'll win another Gold Cup with him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sullevan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodbye now.
Ascot Heath, the course where, as someone once said, on some occasions, it's as important to be seen as to see. Anyway, here's someone who's often seen, or often heard rather, but seldom seen, Peter Sullevan.
The big race we'll be seeing together today, the Victoria Cup. Run for the first time at Ascot and featuring a record field of 35 runners from the top, Miletus with 9 stone 10 to the bottom, Graham of Gold with 7 stone 7. 35 runners have created a jockey problem, and with Paddy Prendergast's stable rider Garni Bagor acquired in Ireland today, he's still without a rider for Cathy Anger, one of the 2 Irish challengers, the other Satan, but no doubt he'll have one fixed up soon, and we'll let you know as soon as he has. We'll also be seeing a couple of 2-year-old races, and our first race is the 1.5 mile Great Harry Handicap. As usual, Clive Graham will be in the paddock. The start is at 2 o'clock, so I hope you'll be rejoining us in plenty of time.
This unique course, and you can see for yourselves why Aintree provides the supreme test. First, let's join Peter Montague-Evans at the mighty Beecher's Brook.
You're now looking along the course, and here we use our number 10 camera. In fact, you're looking towards the first 5 fences, and the next one is Beecher's Brook, and that's where I'm standing now. If you're in any doubt as to whether water does run through it, I can assure you that it does. Although perhaps the most famous of the Grand National fences, it isn't actually the highest. It's 4 foot 10 inches, but the brook itself is 5 foot 6 inches wide. And that it is what causes the challenge to the horses. As you can see, there is a pronounced drop here on the landing side, and that's what they have got to negotiate. Well, now, after Beecher's, we go to fence number 7, then the 8th, which is the canal turn. This should be taken at an oblique angle to counteract the severity of the left-handed turn directly after the canal turn. Number 9 is Valentine's, and here it is that the roving eye camera takes up the story. The roving eye, which is on the motor track, which runs inside the racecourse itself. After Valentine's, 3 more fences, then the Anchor Bridge crossing, and then over to the grandstand. At that stage, I shall lose sight of them myself, and I shall be handing you over to Peter O'Sullevan. At the moment, Peter is on the course in front of the grandstand, so let's go and join him there.
From my commentary point, I shall be covering the start as they set off on their way down to Beeches, and then picking them up again as they recross the Milling Road at Anchor Bridge to come on back onto the racecourse on the first circuit to jump fences 13 and 14. And then the Char, one of the most formidable obstacles on the course. It's a 5'2" fence with a 6-foot ditch on the takeoff side. That's number 15. From there on to the water, number 16, a 12'6" span of water with a 2-foot fence on the takeoff side. Then they come up past the winning post, where I'm standing now, on the first circuit, go down again towards Beeches, and second and final time round, picking them up again at Anchor Bridge. They'll have 2 fences only to jump because they miss the chair and the water on the final circuit. Fences 13 and 14 on the first circuit become 29 and 30 on the final circuit. And from the 30th fence, they have a long run of nearly a quarter of a mile. In fact, it's just over a quarter of a mile to this point, where in just over 2 hours' time, the crowds will be acclaiming the winner of the 1961 National. Later, we'll be showing you a plan of the course, in case my description makes it sound rather complicated. Meanwhile, if you'd care to turn to page 4 of your Radio Times, there's a map of it there. Well, there's a keen wind blowing, and it's firmed the ground even more. It's really quite hard under my feet, and it'll ride exceptionally fast. At this moment, our regular Paddock commentator, Clive Graham, is behind the stands near the parade ring, so I'll hand you over to him there.
I'm here with my back to the paddock, where the 35 Grand National runners will shortly be parading and where they'll be mounted by their riders. We've got 2 cameras here overlooking the scene, and I'll identify the horses and their jockeys for you. Present, the horses are resting over in the racecourse stables about a couple of 100 yards away from here, and they'll come in here, they'll go out to the right of me, they'll file out onto the racetrack, on my right, onto the racecourse rather, and all their riders will be hoping to wind up over on the left in the winner's unsaddling enclosure, where David Coleman is now waiting for you.
2, third Count Ricardo 4-1. Lanark, the 3:30, first Panalady 7-1, second Firefly 5-1, third Tehran Court 7-4 favourite. The 4 o'clock, first Lundy Princess 7-1, second Blue Venom 4-1 co-favourite, third Now and Again 6-1. The 4:30, first Barn Dance 6-1, second Nottingham Bell 3-1 favourite, third March Gone 8-1. Beverley 3:15, first Tuning Fork 6-4 favourite, second Ardent Range 5-1, third Vittorio 10-1. The 3:45, first Vanderlei 100-8, second Cloudy Win 11-4, third Divers Gem 100-8. The 4:15, first Late Call 6-1, second Irish Gamble 2-1, third Dash It 6-1. And the 4:45, first Stone the Crows 100-7, second Mariuccia 6-4 on favourite, and third Village.
Good afternoon and welcome to Summit. Now, our racing this afternoon, in fact, comes from the home of racing, from Newmarket. We shall be covering 4 races, the 2 o'clock, the 2:30, the 2:30, the 3 o'clock, the 3:30 and the 4 o'clock. And for all the latest news and form, over to Newmarket and Peter O'Sullivan.
Well, the weatherman said there's a northeast wind at Newmarket this afternoon, and he wasn't kidding. But we've got a fine sponsored program to make up for it. It's in aid of the Animal Health Trust, to whom all the proceeds go. And there's a good local turnout on account of this, with no less than 42 of the 53 runners in our first 4 races being locally trained here at Newmarket. To show you how expensive failures can be on the race course. One of the races is sponsored by the Friends of the Equine Research Station, and it's for maidens, maiden 3-year-olds. There are 11 runners. 5 of them were bought at public auction for a total of 33,700 guineas. Let's hope one of them gets a little bit of that back this afternoon. Most of the top jocks here this afternoon, including, of course, the champion Lester Piggott, riding again after a couple of days off, and George Moore, who's won 3 of the 4 classics and who's trying this afternoon and hoping this afternoon to reach his big target of 2,000 winners. He needs only 2, and he rides in 3 of our races, including the first, the Eccles Caravan Stakes. There are 18 runners. They're 2-year-olds. They're all locally trained. It's at 2:30. We'll be pointing them out to you with Clive Graham when you rejoin us, as I hope you will, for the Eccles Caravan Stakes.
Race at York. First, Frankincense. Second, Ashford Lee. And third, Right Stuff. Just to run through that again, the 5 o'clock at York. First, Frankincense. Second, Ashford Lee. And third, Right Stuff. Well, that's all we've got for you in Grandstand this afternoon, but between now and next week's Grandstand, there's plenty of sport on.
The computer race for the Massey Ferguson Gold Cup that should have taken place at Cheltenham last week, but which was cancelled because, again, of the foot and mouth restrictions. Now, the 19 runners and riders have been fed into a computer at London University. The race is due to start in about 5 minutes. Here reporting from the course is Peter Sullevan.
Well, in case you weren't with us earlier on the Massey Ferguson Computer Gold Cup course, this is how the race card looks this afternoon. On this tape, all the data and information is punched, and tape like this will be fed into this machine initially, a machine which incidentally receives 250 miles of tape per month. Now, from that machine, it is transferred to magnetic tape behind, and from the magnetic tape where the information is collated, it goes down into the processing room where the action is monitored on this console, and from there it goes back onto magnetic tape, and from its second magnetic tape it is transferred to this fantastic machine here, which is capable of producing 500,000 calculations per second, but which, as I had mentioned earlier, if you were with me, has happily been slightly inhibited, its speed inhibited this afternoon to enable us to keep up with it. Well, shortly we'll be seeing the result of those words, those punches translated into words, when the result of the first fence comes up. Before that, we'll just have them running to the first fence, and from there on it'll be punched out in sequence. Meanwhile, I'm just going to recall to you the runners and riders. They are: number 1, Arctic Sunset, ridden by Barry Brogan. 2 is San Angelo, ridden by John Buckingham. 3, Border Grace, ridden by Roddy Reed. 4, Pawnbroker, Paddy Broderick. 5, Capino, Mr. Nick Gaisley. 6, Forest Prince, Jerry Scott. 7, Valmidas, Terry Pinner. 8, Tibidabo, David Nicholson. 9, Irish Rover, David Mole. 10, Moonduster, Andy Turnell. 11, Glenn, Terry Biddlecombe. 12, Matzo, Bert Davis. 13, Lime King, Pat Buckley. 14, Hello Dolly, Willie Robinson. 15, First Audition, Jeff King. 16, Fitzcard, Stan Meller. 17, Roddy B, Ken Begley. 18, French March, Mr. Ben Hanbury. And 19, Sheer Bravado, Johnny Hayne. And this now is how they're betting at the moment.
It's 4-1 Capino, 5-1 Moonduster, 6-1 Arctic Sunset and Hello Dolly, 8-1 Border Grace and Pawnbroker, 10-1 Fitzcard, Irish Rover and San Angelo, 12-1 Volmidas, 20-1 Forest Prince and Tibidabo, 25-1 First Audition, Glenn and Lime King, 33-1 French March and Matzo, 40-1 Roddy B, and 50-1 the outsider Sheer Bravado.
The machine here ticking, and they'll shortly be underway for this race, arranged by the evening stand that I'm looking over towards the ticker tape now as it goes into its initial machine, and very shortly I'll be receiving the first sheet which will show how the runners are faring as they approach the first fence, the first of the 15 fences in this 2.5-mile computer race, run on this fantastic Atlas computer machine, which is run by a private company owned by London University. And that's it. Here's the ticking. They're off, and any moment now I'll be receiving the order as they come to the first fence in this 2.5-mile Massey Ferguson Computer Gold Cup. The open ditches number 7 and 12, and here it is. And Arctic Sunset, the leader, from Irish Rover, Capino, San Angelo, Matzo, Hello Dolly, Moonduster, Forest Prince, Valmidas, French March, Glen, Lime King, Roddy B, Border Grace, Tibidabo, Fitzcard, First Audition, and over the first fence it's Irish Rover from Hello Dolly, Forest Prince, Moonduster, San Angelo, Arctic Sunset and Capino, then Matzo, Lime King, French March, Valmidas, Border Grace, Glen, Tibidabo, Roddy B, First Audition, Pawnbroker, Fitzcard, and Sheer Bravado, a faller at the first fence, coming to the second now, and it's Irish Rover still from Arctic Sunset, Forest Prince, Hello Dolly, Moonduster, San Angelo, Capino, Matzo, Lime King, French March, Border Grace, Tibidabo, Valmidas, First Audition, Glen, Roddy B, Pawnbroker and Fitzcard. Over the third, Irish Rover still the leader from Hello Dolly, Arctic Sunset, Forest Prince, Moonduster, French March, Capino, Matzo, Tibidabo, San Angelo, Lime King, Valmidas next, followed by Border Grace, First Audition, Glen, Roddy B, Pawnbroker, Fitzcard. That's the order. Irish Rover, Hello Dolly, Arctic Sunset. Coming up to the fourth shortly now, with Irish Rover still the leader from Hello Dolly, Arctic Sunset, Forest Prince, Moonduster, French March, Capino, Matzo, Tibidabo, San Angelo, Lime King, Valmidas. The faller, as I mentioned earlier, Sheer Bravado. Fitzcard some way behind the leaders at the moment. So is Pawnbroker and Roddy B. Coming up to the fourth shortly now, the machine just ticking it up, and here it comes. Hello Dolly now in the lead from Moonduster, Arctic Sunset, Irish Rover back in fourth from French March, Capino, Matzo, San Angelo, Valmidas, Forest Prince, Tibidabo, Lime King, First Audition, Border Grace, Roddy B, Glen, Pawnbroker and Fitzcard. And as I mentioned earlier, Sheer Bravado the faller. They're coming up to the fifth now, and Hello Dolly still in the lead from Arctic Sunset second, Matzo third, Moonduster, Capino, San Angelo, French March, Irish Rover, First Audition, Forest Prince, then Valmidas, Lime King and Tibidabo, Pawnbroker, Border Grace, Glen, Fitzcard and Roddy B. That was the fifth. Now coming towards the sixth fence now, these 15 fences in all in this Massey Ferguson Computer Gold Cup. Coming to the sixth now, Hello Dolly still the leader from Arctic Sunset, Matzo, Moonduster, Capino, San Angelo and French March. Then Irish Rover, the early leader, followed by First Audition and Forest Prince. Then Valmidas and Lime King, Tibidabo, Pawnbroker, Border Grace, Glen. They're not strung out at all at the moment now, and at the since Forest Prince now takes it up, and it's Forest Prince from Matzo, French March, Hello Dolly back in fourth now, Arctic Sunset, then San Angelo, Capino, First Audition, Irish Rover, Border Grace, Lime King. Then comes Valmidas, Roddy B, Fitzcard, Tibidabo and Glen, Pawnbroker, Moonduster a faller at that one. Moonduster was gone, and Matzo now in the lead at the seventh from Forest Prince in second, Hello Dolly third. Then French March, Arctic Sunset, San Angelo and Irish Rover, Capino and First Audition, Border Grace, Roddy B, Lime King, Valmidas, Fitzcard, Pawnbroker, Tibidabo and Glen. The two fallers, Moonduster and Sheer Bravado. Matzo, the leader at the seventh, but as they come to the eighth, Hello Dolly's back in the lead again from Matzo in second, with French March third, Forest Prince four, then Arctic Sunset, San Angelo, behind San Angelo's Irish Rover, then Roddy B, Capino and First Audition, Border Grace, Fitzcard, Lime King and Valmidas, Pawnbroker and Tibidabo. This is the water, the ninth, and over the water, Hello Dolly, the leader from French March. Then comes Matzo, Arctic Sunset, Forest Prince, San Angelo and Roddy B, then Irish Rover and Capino and Border Grace, then First Audition, Fitzcard, Lime King, Valmidas, Tibidabo, Pawnbroker, Glen, all those standing, coming to the 10th now, and it's Hello Dolly. Hello Dolly, the leader from Arctic Sunset, French March, Forest Prince, Matzo, San Angelo, Irish Rover, Roddy B, Capino, Fitzcard, Border Grace. There's another faller here. First Audition just behind Border Grace, then Lime King, Valmidas, Tibidabo, Glen and Pawnbroker a faller. Pawnbroker last year's winner is down. Coming to the 11th now, and it's Hello Dolly, the leader still from Forest Prince in second, then Arctic Sunset, French March, Matzo, San Angelo and Capino, Roddy B, Irish Rover, Fitzcard, Border Grace, Lime King, First Audition,
Glen, Val Midas, Glen, and Tibidabo is gone. Tibidabo faller, so the fallers Tibidabo, Pawnbroker, Moonduster and Sheer Bravado. And the leader at the next, at the 12th, is Forest Prince back again in the lead. From Hello Dolly second, then Arctic Sunset third, Matzo, San Angelo, French March, Capino, Roddy B, Irish Rover, Fitzcard, then Border Grace, First Audition, Val Midas, Lime King, Glen, Forest Prince still the leader. Over the 12th, well over the 12th, the fallers Tibidabo, Pawnbroker, Moonduster and Sheer Bravado. Forest Prince in the lead from Hello Dolly, Arctic Sunset, Matzo, San Angelo, French March. This will be the 13th coming up now. That was the last open ditch that Forest Prince led over from Hello Dolly, Arctic Sunset, Matzo, San Angelo, French March and Capino. Then Roddy B, Irish Rover, Fitzcard, Border Grace, First Audition and Val Midas. 13th this, the third last with Arctic Sunset now the leader. San Angelo has moved into second. Matzo is third. Forest Prince back in fourth. Hello Dolly, Capino, French March, Irish Rover, Border Grace and Roddy B. Then Fitzcard, First Audition, Val Midas, Lime King and Glen. This is the second last coming up now, and it's Arctic Sunset in the lead from Matzo, San Angelo, Forest Prince, Hello Dolly, French March, Irish Rover, Capino, Roddy B, Border Grace, then Fitzcard, First Audition, Lime King, Val Midas, Glen, Arctic Sunset the leader at the second last from Matzo, San Angelo and Forest Prince, Hello Dolly, then French March, Irish Rover, Capino and Roddy B. Coming up towards the last now, the 15th and last fence in this Massey Ferguson Computer Gold Cup. Coming towards the last, Arctic Sunset the leader, and as they come to the last, Arctic Sunset still the leader from Matzo in second, San Angelo third, Hello Dolly, Capino, Border Grace, Forest Prince, French March and Roddy B. Some way behind him, then Irish Rover a long way back, then Fitzcard, First Audition and Lime King, then Val Midas and Glen, but they're all safely over the last, the only four fallers. And coming up now on the run in, and this is the finish, this is the finishing order. First Arctic Sunset, second Matzo, third San Angelo, 4 Hello Dolly, 5 Border Grace, 6 Capino, 7 French March, 8 Roddy B. Then comes Forest Prince and Irish Rover, Fitzcard and First Audition, Lime King, Val Midas and Glen. They're the only finishers. So the result of the Massey Ferguson Computer Gold Cup, first number 1 Arctic Sunset, owned by Mr. J.R. McNair, trained by Ken Oliver and ridden by Barry Brogan. Second is number 12 Matzo, owned by Mr. F. Hughes, trained by Stan Wright and ridden by Bert Davis. And third is number 2 San Angelo, owned by Mr. Edward Courage, trained by him and ridden by John Buckingham. Well, who's to say that that wouldn't have been the result of the Massey Ferguson Computer Gold Cup if it really had been run. Arctic Sunset, the top weight, a very game horse, a horse who's apt to break blood vessels, but who obviously didn't pick up any of his variables, one of which of course would have been his capacity to do so this afternoon, and who won from Matzo and San Angelo. Well, while we await the starting prices, perhaps I might just have an opportunity to say that it was a very fine gesture of Massey Ferguson to donate £1,000 towards foot and mouth research as a result of this contest, and to hope that it won't be too long before conditions permit us to be back in real live action again. Meanwhile, with that result, here are now the starting prices.
First Arctic Sunset 6-1, second Matzo 33-1, and third San Angelo 10-1. First Arctic Sunset 6-1, second Matzo 33-1, and third San Angelo 10-1.
And here by chance we have in the studio the jockey of the winner, Barry Brogan, and the rider of the third, John Buckingham. Well done, Barry.
Thank you.